Brennan, and this is Kat Fitzgerald, and we'll be talking today about Google Glass, but from a different perspective. We'll be talking about it from the perspective of the anti-tech people who aren't so much embracing Google Glass, but rather rejecting it.
So what do you think of Google Glass and people who wear it?
I didn't really have any perceptions of it before now, just because I hadn't really looked into it that much. But now afterwards, and after having used it, I think it's and researching this anti-tech perspective, I kind of agree with it just because of the fact that it is so expensive, and it's in this environment where there are people who are getting evicted and can't pay their rent in this Silicon Valley where people are walking around with Google Glass and potentially not necessarily invading privacy, but have the ability to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's now this whole group of people who, the minute they see wearable technology of any kind, they automatically think that you're some Silicon Valley elitist. And there's definitely some judgmental actions taking place, such as the attack on a woman who was wearing Google Glass in a bar. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, her name was Sarah Slocum, and she was attacked in a bar. She had her Google Glass ripped off her, and she was able to recover that, but they also stole her purse and her phone, so she was completely out without any form of identification, any money or anything like that. So it's just like these random acts against people wearing Google Glass just because they have that wearable technology on them. And it may not necessarily be because of the technology, but because of what it stands for, and because of the fact that there are people in the Silicon Valley that are more well off and are able to use it, and then there are people who are not so well off and see it as a sign of that elitist mentality.
Yeah, and another component of it too is that people don't know what you're doing on Google Glass. Like if you just see someone wearing glass, you have no idea if they're checking their email or if they're videotaping you. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's another component of why people have turned so against it, because a year ago when Google Glass was just coming out, there didn't seem to be this really strong passion against it, and now as more and more people have it on the streets, there definitely seems to be more.
Yeah, and there's this group of people who believe that the Google Glass is more so an extension of the person rather than a form of technology. Like Google's trying to make it the next cell phone. And when you think about it, you can put your cell phone in your pocket and it's away and people know that you're not using it. And if somebody on the street were to be like, hey, quit pointing your cell phone at me, they'd understand and you put your cell phone away. But I mean, with Google Glass, you're making assumptions, you're stop looking at me, or it's more offensive and more so the personal aspect of it. So.
Yeah, and then Google hasn't done a very good job of promoting themselves, because in the ads that they have done, it's not people in social situations, it's researchers on wildlife refuges, and they're using it for really important purposes there, but when you take it out of that context and just put it on the street, people don't really get it. And even some of their strongest supporters or original supporters have even said that in certain situations, they will take off Google Glass because Glass users tend to be shunned, such as one man who loves Google Glass and was one of the first supporters and early adopters of it, and has tweeted pictures of him wearing it in the shower because he never wanted to take it off. When he went to Coachella, he noticed that people wearing glass were really being shunned and isolated from the rest of the group, and he didn't want that. So before, I think it was a Skrillex concert, he decided to take it off because he didn't want to be one of the glass holes.
Which we have a video about, so we're going to look at that and see how Mashable is defining the glass hole.
So Mashable came up with this parody of all the things that Google Glass does, or Google Glass users do, that makes them a glass hole.
Social ineptitude and general douchiness. Here are some signs you're becoming a total glass hole.
I like the show, but I like the books, Game of Thrones, a lot better.
Actually, the series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. Game of Thrones is just the first book, published in 1996.
Glass does not increase your attractiveness to the opposite sex.
Oh, these? No, these don't have X-ray vision. Yet.
What's up?
This is not what we mean by live streaming.
When it's summertime and I was thinking about doing something different with my hair. I don't know if I should blonde or if I should bob cut. I'm not sure what would look best.
Other signs include inability to maintain eye contact, constant cheating at trivia,
Millard Fillmore, the Louisiana Purchase, the Kentucky Derby, Brussels sprouts.
and general douchebaggery.
Take a picture of this loser not wearing glass. Cooler than you. Cooler than you. Share to Google+. Still cooler.
Nobody likes a glass hole. Avoid these behaviors and you'll be on your way to Google Glass greatness.
Okay, Glass. Take a picture.
So that video kind of is a parody, but it also does outline things that could happen with Google Glass just because it's on your face all the time, and it's so limited that you could be sitting around a Trivial Pursuit table and be the only person wearing Google Glass. So
And getting all the answers.
yeah, and cheating almost. But yeah, I mean, it needs to be limited, and I think that that's definitely something that's happening, especially in the Silicon Valley, because they're posting stickers on outside of bars and other establishments that say like Google Glass is not like allowed inside of this establishment. So I mean, it is developing in a sense like being monitored.
Do you think some of that though is because other people who aren't Glass users don't realize other things that Glass does? Everyone just assumes that it's taking pictures and recording videos all the time.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the fact that so few people have it right now, and the fact that it is that elitist mentality, is making it that way. So like if it were to be a more widespread thing and you'd go into a bar and a bunch of people would be wearing Google Glass, I think it would be more accepted into society and into that environment.
But I mean, we have enough of a problem with people just looking at their phones all the
Yeah.
time. What happens if all of a sudden your phone screen's right in front of your eye and
Yeah.
then no one would ever be having real social interactions anymore?
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of people have been talking about how like this wearable technology is inevitable and it's coming fast. And I think that people need to, the way they're thinking, like look up from the screen, they have to think in a different mentality, like don't wear your Google Glass everywhere, or like just pay attention to the what's happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's only actually going to get adopted if people want it to be. So
Yeah.
even though it might be inevitable that the technology is there, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to become popular.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. So what experiences did you have with Glass? Because I know that I had some of my own as well, because it's pretty weird looking.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird thing. It's very noticeable. You can't walk around and not have people notice that you're wearing glass.
Yeah.
And when I was with a couple of my friends, they knew what I was doing. They knew I was doing it for a class, and they were fine with me wearing it. And I ended up taking it off anyway, not because they got upset, but because I knew the stigma, and it made me uncomfortable having that stigma potentially attached to me.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where I definitely think it's a cool technology. I think there are certain places and uses for it that definitely make sense. But I would never wear it in an everyday social setting or in an office or
Yeah.
at Coachella or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that I agree with everything that you said. Like when I was sitting around my house, I felt kind of weird, and my friends, yeah, they would make fun of me and say that I looked like a cyborg, and I didn't really care so much about that. It's just that the creepy aspect of it. Like I felt like I was potentially able to invade their privacy and like do something weird with the Google Glass. Not that I was doing it, but
Yeah.
like the fact that I had the potential to do something without them knowing was just like creeping me out. So I had to take it off.
Well, and also the whole like speaking component of it, the fact that you're
Yeah.
always like, okay, Glass. I was sitting in my room and I said, okay, Glass, take a picture. And my dog started barking. He was like, what are you talking to?
Yeah.
And I think that's another interesting thing is that it actually is more steps to do things on Google Glass than it would be to do it on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's really just an extension of your phone. It's not doing anything that your phone can't do. And it actually, a lot of times, is more steps.
Yeah, and it's funny to think about all those people who think like, oh, you're taking a video of me without knowing. Like you would know. You'd see them touch the device, or you'd hear them talk
Yeah.
about it. So it's just interesting to see like where it will go in the future and if it will change in that
Yeah,
way.
I think it'll be an interesting thing to watch. Thank you.